your discussion with the apostate prophet, you said that you think Jesus believed he was the Messiah?
Yes, but not in the sense that Christians say that. But when Christians say Jesus is the Messiah, what they typically mean is that Jesus was the one sent by God to die for the sins of the world and to be raised from the dead. There was no Jew in the days of Jesus who thought that's what the Messiah was going to be. There were no Jews who thought that. The Messiah was going to, they had different expectations of the Messiah. So depending which Jewish sources you're reading, but the most common view is that the Messiah was going to be a descendant of David, who, like David, would be a political figure, a warrior, who drove out the enemy and became the king over a sovereign state of Israel. That's the most common view. Other Jews thought that the Messiah would be a cosmic figure who destroyed the forces of evil, God's enemies, and set up a kingdom here on earth, kind of a cosmic judge, one like a son of man, as in the book of Daniel. There are other Jews, the Jews who produced the Dead Sea Scrolls thought there were going to be two messiahs. One apparently was going to be like a political figure who would be subservient to the major Messiah, who was a priest, who would interpret God's laws and would rule the people of God with a fist of iron. And so there are various views, but all of these views had in common the idea that the Messiah would be a great figure of grandeur and power who would overwhelm the enemy and set up and rule God's people. Christians, of course, have never said that because Jesus didn't do that. Jesus was crucified. And then they believed he got raised from the dead. And so Christians came up with this idea that the Messiah is not supposed to be any of those things. The Messiah is supposed to be somebody who dies and is raised. And then they turned to their Bible and they found passages that seem to say that about there's going to be some righteous person who suffers and then God vindicates, like Isaiah 53 or Psalm 22, and there's all these verses most of your listeners will know about, and they claim that's talking about the Messiah. And that's where the idea of a suffering Messiah came from. Those passages, by the way, never talk about the Messiah. Oh yeah, read Isaiah 53 and look for the word Messiah sometime. It's not there.